Shalom, what's good, everybody? I'm your host, Renaissance Woman, aka Ren Judah, and here I am trying to fulfill one of my goals for the week, and that's to try to stream more often. Listen, I was just sitting here thinking, and I was just thinking about how whenever I am around truth tellers, and it's not to say that I tell the truth all the time, because I think, the Bible says that every man is a liar. And I have to think, even when we have those times when people ask us, how are we doing? And we say we're fine, and we're not. And technically, it's a lie, right? So this is not about being perfect, right? This is not about being holy, because I always think about the Pharisee when he's praying to God and he's telling him, thank God I'm not like that publican over there. We do know that the word says, he that exalteth himself will be abased. So it is not for you to get in the mindset of exalting yourself, but to understand when you're on the right path. And I do think that a lot of times you will find when you are walking on this journey, Shalom Zell. Let me drop the link for you. I do think a lot of times when you're on this journey, you are going to find yourself walking alone, and you have to be prepared for that. You're going to have to be prepared for when you just tell the truth. People are going to call you crazy, and that is the truth. You think about everybody you know that is really honest. What do people say about them? Oh, she crazy. And do you know why they call you crazy? I'm going to tell you why, because they are so used to lying themselves and being around liars that they just cannot fathom anybody telling this kind of truth. It's just not done. And I'm going to tell you, it happens at church, at home, at work, at play. There is no escape. Online, offline, you are not going to get away from the work that you get when you try to keep those laws, statutes, and commandments. And so I just wanted to be encouraging to anybody out there who's going through something. You may be falsely accused. You may have people attacking you. You may be the one person in your family a person who has passed, because one way to see how ugly people can be, it is in death. You may be that one person who got left everything because you were the one person in the family that they knew would carry out their wishes. No ifs, ands, buts about it. It didn't matter if you agreed or disagreed. If you asked me to do it, I'm going to do it. You may be that person. And it's going to be a lonely road. But just know that you're not alone. And I think we always forget that. We always think that we're out here alone. And I will never forget when my grandma passed, and it was just some random running into, the lady just told me in a story. She was like, you are more loved and protected than you know. And it was at a time where I was feeling really, really low. And just that reminder, just her telling me that, I knew in that moment, the Most High said that He would send a comforter, and He did. And it was so weird. Not only did she was sent to me. I also, the weirdest thing, three mourning doves were sitting on my fence. And I knew then, because I asked, I was just like, I was just like, wow, Lord, like, and I was like, just give me a sign, like, is this real? And when I went out there and saw those birds, and as a matter of fact, they came while I was sitting outside. The first one flew directly in front of my face, and then it was joined by two other birds once it rested on the fence. And I knew, I don't care what anybody says, nobody will ever convince me that that was not my sign. And so all I'm saying to you is, you know what your signs are, and you know what the Most High is giving you to let you know that He is here with you. And I can say that there are times like these last 2 weeks, I felt like I was going through it. But all of a sudden, when I was out today, I just got so joyful because I realized something. When you know you're telling the truth, when you know you're not doing anything wrong, That's all you need to hold on to. And shout out to One Flesh, Crystal, she joins us on here when she can. They have a song about being tried in the fire right now. And it's so fitting to think about that in this moment because guess what? A lot of us are going to be tried in the fire. And guess what? When you come out of that fire, you're going to be pure gold. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But yeah. And I'm going to tell you something else. My grandma and them used to say, everybody shouting ain't happy. There are going to be a lot of people, and you're going to run across them. And it made me think of Miss Millie from The Color Purple. Miss Millie wanted to be known as this philanthropic soul that went around caring for the colored people. And some of y'all gonna feel where I'm coming from, but you got to see that spirit when she was so no, when Sophia thought she was gonna be able to tell Miss Millie no. I know a whole lot of people who do a lot in the community, and to the bottom of their heart, they are liars and they are Miss Millies. And so I have to gather myself and say, you know what? There's a reason why the Bible says come out from amongst them. And so if you find yourself around people like that, whether they're in your family or they're in your church or wherever you meet these people, let them do them. There was an older man where I used to work, and I used to always wonder why he used to always, because most people hang out at lunchtime, they hang out with their coach. He would always be by himself. He wouldn't even eat lunch with anybody, but he would come and talk to me sometimes. But I never saw him just sitting around jaw jacking. And one day we had a conversation about it, and he just told him, he said, I stay out of trouble. I stay out of the way. I read my Bible at lunch, eat my lunch, and I go back to work. And sometimes that's all you can do. And really, to be honest, if I'm thinking about it, that's probably really all you should do. Go do your work. Go do it well. Stay out of them folks' business. And some of you, this message is, you know who you are. You are a busybody. You're always running around meddling in other people's affairs. You always starting stuff. And you always in some mess. You gossip, you run your mouth. Go somewhere and sit down and be quiet. Try that. You do too much. Because I can promise you, when the Bible says that the lip of truth will be established and that a lying tongue is but for a moment, all you workers of iniquity out here lying and you're flying high right now, you really think you're doing something? You're going to get your turn. And what that song saying, then I'm going to watch you burn. I'm out of here. Shalom.